Good morning, beautiful souls. So, recently, my husband has switched from coffee to tea. And since I only do hot water with apple cider vinegar or lemon oil or both, I miss the little messages that you'd get. So when I make mine, I'll make his. And this one was so beautiful today, I wanted to show it to you, but then I wanted to say something else about it. So it says, truth is the only safe ground to stand upon. Elizabeth Cady Stanton. Now it's really interesting because last night I almost cried myself to sleep. I was crying to him about how much I miss my family and like I wish things were different and blah, blah, blah. And I'm really having a hard time talking to my mom because I had made like a good break from my family last year and just I felt safe and felt good enough about just sending my mom, text messages here and there. And once in a while, she'd send me a guilt filled message of, I miss hearing your voice, kind of thing. But I was getting stronger, I was getting better. And then about a month ago, my mom reached out to me and told me that, something was really serious. And so I called her, because I was like, oh, somebody died or something. Come to find out that my stepfather, her husband, had a really bad accident, broke his ankle, blah, blah, blah. But they found other things wrong. And so, of course, I stayed in contact with her. But I started to notice, like, that I've been, like, unraveling a little bit over the last few weeks. And, it was like I kept, she was sending updates, like I was sending updates to everybody when it happened with Edward. And I get it. And I was grateful for the updates. But then all of a sudden I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I don't want to like be in the drama of it or be on this chain of like messages. And I just stopped responding. Well, I finally like came to admit to myself that I really don't want to talk to her anymore. I don't know about ever, but just like for a while, I need to right now with everything that's happening and we believe in such different things. And I'm trying so hard to stay fixated in my own truth and my own creativity. And upon like watching other readers on YouTube and stuff and doing pick a piles, I kept getting the same message. And when I get the same message from different readers within a few days, I know that spirits, and I feel it too. I know that it's time to deal with it. And the one I got over the last few days was that I really have to let my family go so that I can do what I was meant to do. And one of the other things was that one of the reasons why my creativity has been stalled is because I've been hurt and betrayed and lied to so much by the closest people to me over the last few years, and well, actually the last 5 years really. And so I just had to one by one, it's just like every time I'd go home or be around my family, I felt like I was going going against enemy fire, and it just doesn't feel good anymore. And so long story short, I've been trying to figure out a way to say to her, like, hey, happy Thanksgiving, but like, I'm not going to talk to you again for a while. And then last night when I was crying to my partner about it, I just started to get really sad. And then I asked Spirit to come and give me a message. And when I was waking up, I remember that my dreams were really intense. I think I was astral traveling again. But then when I woke up, I was like, damn it, I feel like I missed it. Like, I feel like they were trying to tell me something, but I missed it. And then here it is, I go to make our tea, and what do I see? Truth is the only safe ground to stand upon. And I realized, I'm like, I just need to send my mom a message and say, I just don't feel comfortable talking to you. I don't want to talk to, dad, my stepdad, I call him dad. And I just don't want to talk to anybody anymore in my family. I always feel grief. There's always a sadness. And I feel like one of the reasons why I'm not thriving in my own world is because I'm still tethered to a world that doesn't belong to me anymore. So the moral of the story is, just because we're not, going to be with our family members, I've been seeing a lot of things around where people are like, oh, we're doing a Zoom Thanksgiving, or I don't follow Twitter, but I love to go on the Huffington Post and see the Twitters of the week. They're always so funny. Some are like, whatever, but most of them are pretty funny and pretty good. And the one thing that I kept seeing, like the common thread, was that people were, they were all like, gosh, just when I thought Thanksgiving couldn't get any worse with my family, now I have to do it via the internet. Like this is like so crazy. Or like one person was like, I just said, no, Mom, we're not doing Thanksgiving over Zoom. Like just get over it. You and Dad do your own thing, and like we're going to do our own thing. But I think it's interesting that the holidays right now, 519, by the way, look up Angel 519. But I think it's interesting that we're in the first holiday season of lockdown. They predicted this last year. I mean, I personally feel like this whole thing is being orchestrated. I think we're going to find out both sides of the fence, Democrat, Republican, like this shit goes deep. It's been going on for generations. I think a lot of stuff's going to come to the surface still before the end of the year, which is also a reason why we're looking at this truth is the only safe ground to stand upon. But I think it's interesting that, here we are in another lockdown around the holidays. And some people are like so upset about it. And other people are really excited because they're like, finally, I don't have to like, look at, creepy Uncle Larry, from whatever, touching himself, or just funny. I just saw funny tweets, but it's not funny, right? Because it's kind of twisted and messed up. And why, it's like, it said something like, don't we all have that creepy uncle? And it's like, ugh, but I guess that's the whole point. It's like, what are we missing? What are we missing? This is the time to go inward. And I know the holidays can already feel lonely, but if you can, try not to feel alone. Zoom with people that you really like, or meet with people that you really like. And, I personally believe that this virus is for those who are, don't take care of themselves. Some people are like, oh, he used to jog and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, but what was he doing in the background that maybe you guys didn't know about? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot going on. And this is my own personal truth. I'm not a doctor. I don't, but just as an intuitive, I feel like every person who's died from this virus, like even Edward and I were talking about it, it's like, how much of it is really the virus? Or is it somebody who had, cold complications or flu complications, and so they're like chucking it up as the virus and like paying the family, you know what I mean? Like there's so many things, that so many lies, and I'm not saying it's not real, but now it's mutating. And I stumbled upon something last night that I watched recently, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. And they were talking about how they did that on purpose when they developed this strain. They purposely like knew that it would just keep mutating and mutating and mutating and mutating. So I think it's interesting too that now they want to give people vaccines. I'm like, I wouldn't take a vaccine ever. I mean, if they like tell us that we have to forcibly like take a vaccine, I'm like, I will go underground and go off the grid before I get forced to put something in my body when I'm healthy. Like that's insane. I'm not going to do it. So the truth will set us all free. And I feel like all the truths and all these things are going to come out over, to the end of the year. And as the years come, we're going to see a lot of truths be revealed. But also there's a lot of beauty and a lot of love and a lot of good things that are coming too. So the interesting thing is, this is the one that came on Ed's tea today, but this is the one that came yesterday. And I thought, how interesting. He who forgives ends the quarrel. It's an African proverb. He, she, they who forgive end the quarrel. And that's what I realized too. It's like, I feel like it was like a story that Spirit was trying to tell me in my own situation, but I feel like this can apply to a lot of us, right? It's like sometimes it's not about giving in and, giving up. It's about forgiving so that we can move forward. And, I was crying last night too, because one of the reasons why I'm struggling to finish my book is because it hurts. It's hard to keep going in and seeing certain things over and over and over. And like, because if I make one adjustment to the story in one place, then I have to adjust it because it's a story and it's very in depth and has these really awesome characters. And then I'll get an idea to give the character this. And I'm like, well, wouldn't I say this in this part, So you don't realize how much you revisit, unless you're somebody who writes your book from the beginning to end, and wow, that's amazing. But for myself, it's like a masterpiece that I'm orchestrating with Spirit. And it's also, I got to a point where I said to Ed last night, I'm like, I don't even know if I ever even want to put my books out. I almost feel like they're so therapeutic for myself. It's like my own therapy. But what I realized is that there's a lot of anger in certain chapters. And, I'm like, how do I forgive it, right? Like, I do forgive it, but the character hasn't fully forgiven it yet in the book, in the story. Like, it's going to come up in other chapters and other books, because it's a book series. But it's really forcing me to look at everything like smack dab in the face right there. And so I implore you to do whatever you need to do. I just saw angel number 4 because it was 1012, and then I was going to say 112, and then I heard, no, it's the number 4, so look up angel number 4. That's your homework. Do you hear what I'm saying? It's like, and so I realized, I'm like, I have to forgive everybody, like truly forgive it, because otherwise I wouldn't keep getting triggered if I'd really forgiven them and forgiven myself. And most of our deep-rooted trauma deals from our childhood. We can almost pinpoint to the moment if we really look into it, if we really like get in there and feel it. It hurts. I know it hurts. I'm with you. I feel the pain. I said last night, I'm like, why am I an empath if I can feel all of this pain, all of this suffering? And so many of us are just that, right? Like, we're suffering right now because we're in a lot of pain during these lockdowns, during these times alone. But I'm just here to tell you, you're not alone. Reach out to your spirit guides. Reach out to all of those, that you can't see, the ancestors. Light a candle, sit by your altar. If you haven't built an altar, build one. Build one specifically for the ancestors. I have many altars all over my house. But whatever works for you. But, light that candle and ask your spirit guides, ask your higher self, ask your guardian angel, the archangels, whomever you feel close to, the ancestors, say, please take this pain away from me. Because the truth is the only safe ground for us to stand upon. And if we forgive, the fight is over. But the thing is, just because we forgive them doesn't mean they forgive us or forgive themselves. Because I can forgive my family all day long, but if I tried to sit down with them and have a conversation like I am right now with you guys, I know I'm not going, at least in my experience in the past with them, I don't know who they are now. We haven't spoken in a while, but as of right now, what I feel that it would not be as welcome as I would hoped it to be. Even though I would say, like, well, how did I hurt you? Let's work past this. Like, I'm always willing to work past things. But until we forgive it truly ourselves, we won't be able to move past it, because we can't expect other people to move past their hurts and their pains, because it happened to them. What we did and said to them happened to them. We have to own that. I know I own that with my family. And after I had made a big apology to my family some years ago, kind of a grand apology actually, because I realized my behavior, and I was like, man, I'm sorry, I was kind of a dick over the last 10 years. And I'm like, I blamed it to my 20s. And at the time when I asked for forgiveness, I was in my early 30s. And truthfully, I didn't really ask for forgiveness. I just apologized and said I was really sorry. And, I could see how shocked everybody was. And at first it seemed like they really took to it. But then I realized, like, it didn't matter, because slowly, no matter what 1315 angel number, no matter what I did, no matter what I said, somehow it would always come back to that. And I started to realize, I'm like, I'm not going to win with these guys. And it doesn't matter if I apologize. They still don't look at my apology as real. So if you can, forgive it yourself. Forgive yourself first, then forgive them. Don't expect anything in return. A lot of programs like AA and therapy programs have you go through and, do the forgiveness program. But right now, just stay in your truth as much as possible and forgive our family and our friends. Yesterday, I had 1403. Whenever I call out numbers, that's an angel number. It could even be 143. But yesterday, Edward and I did laundry, and we ended up running some errands. We weren't going to do anything this week. We did all of our grocery shopping last week, but then I was just like, hey, let's go to the laundromat. Let's do this, let's do that. And so we did, and I ended up having this really weird experience where we were in the Goodwill, and we both like desperately like needed comfy pants and comfy shirts. I'm like, I'm tired of everything I have having holes in them. So we went there to try and find some stuff, and this woman was behind me, and this guy came in and he knew her, and they started having this conversation. And then he just like kind of went on a rant, and I was like, oh my gosh. And his energy was just not pleasant. And then like the manager of the store came up and said, you have to put a mask on. And he went off about it. And he was like, I know you're just doing your job, but and he was clearly a Trump supporter, and just everything he was doing and saying was just like a little scary, actually, to be honest. He was a very aggressive individual. So then finally he gets kicked out of the store. So I found some relief and finished my shopping. And in the same shopping center is where we do our laundry. And so we go down to do laundry, and lo and behold, he's in there. Except for he was on a soapbox, almost quite literally, because we were in the laundromat, 1533, and started going on and on about, mark my words, by the end of 2020, gas will be $5 a gallon. And he's like, we're all going to be slaves, and, and all of this thing. And he was going on and on. And just the things he was saying and the way he was speaking about how intelligent he was, whatever. I mean, he was clearly completely uneducated, actually, on many things. It took everything out of me not to speak, not to say something many times. He was just off the rails. And I mean, seriously, you name it, he was talking about it. It was just out of control. And so I kept saying to Spirit, I was holding my tongue, and I was just like, okay, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. And then I just finally said, I'm not going to say anything. I'm like, but if he gets in my face or if something happens or whatever, I'm like, I'm definitely going to say something, because I kept feeling that his mother abused him. Like, she was verbally abusive to him. She would smack him. She would, I don't think he ever had a father figure in his life. Like, that's when sometimes when people are that open like that, as a medium, I can feel everything. I can sense everything. And I saw him in his childhood. And so Spirit showed me that, 1640. So Spirit showed me that. And then I saw him, and I just like sent him love. I just sent him love. And I was like, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I'm so sorry that your mother did that to you. Like, in through my mind, And so I just asked his spirit guides and my spirit guides to send him as much love as possible. 1659, now 17. Anyway, do you hear what I'm saying? So that's their truth. That's what they believe in. That's what they know. But the truth is the only safe ground to stand upon. And someday a lot of these things are going to come to light. And we have to forgive our friends and our family so that we can end the quarrel, not just with them, but within ourselves and within our society. We have to forgive even when it's tough. That doesn't mean we have to still talk to them anymore, right? I'm not telling you to keep going back in for more when you're getting hurt over and over and over, 1732. By the way, when these angel numbers come at you, it may just come and wash over you. And some of them, they may just stick with you. And you're like, oh my gosh, what did she say? That means you're supposed to go look it up. Just Google the angel number, whichever one feels comfortable. Anyway, it was a lot longer than I anticipated. I wanted to do just a short few minute thing, but just wanted you all to know that I love you and I forgive you. You are forgiven. You don't need to even ask for forgiveness. You're already forgiven. Also, I just heard 18, because when it was at 18 minutes, I heard lucky number 18. So, that's the number 9. We've all been talking about the number 9 this week. That's interesting. All right, that's it. I love you guys. We'll talk again soon. Have a blessed day. Bye.